And here we are. Hello, everyone, and happy Lionsgate and successful Lionsgate. Everything that we do and every year in the past, it is always a success and it always adds to the energetic value overall as we keep going forward. So there is never a time to question if anything is having any effect, because it does. And once you go forward in retrospect, and if you're to reflect back upon the certain times, you will have confirmations, but also know that, for example, you would not be where you are at today without, let's say, a Lion's Gate a year ago. So it just keeps adding the value and the benefit to the overall energetics. Now, having said this, this is the Q&A, a question and answer for Ascension and energetics and any individual spiritual ascension related questions as well. I'll answer all of those. And having said this, with my lives, Rick Vornbrook, he downloads them for I and he puts them on a channel. And having said that, if you watch the YouTubes later and you see a Rick asked to buy him a coffee to support the channel, I wish to make it clear that that's just for Rick, that I don't ask for donations in that manner at all. The only way I fund is on uh, Facebook and Telegram, and that's done publicly and openly when we require funds to move forward, and as we do. So I wish to make that clear. And hello, Dublin, Dariana, I believe, and Danielle. So we got some questions coming up right away, so I'll get into some of those. First question from Danielle Barton. She says, if I was born August 9th, do you believe the Lions Gate affected me? Let me say, it more so at this point depends upon your beliefs, Danielle. If you believe it did, then believe that it affects you in good ways. But also don't count out any other explanations as well. Because as we transition through higher levels of truth, one's come to find out more about yourself and let's say more information pertaining to the timing of your birth as well. So what we wish not to do is draw conclusions on anything, and always keep open to that. For August the 9th, depending on where you're at, is your birthday, and with that comes a certain amount of a feeling, at least with it. And here's Femka joined us. So with that, what I would say, yes, it does. Here you are on here asking this question, at least. With this, how is this flow going? Again, it seems like it slowed down on the screen. It keeps popping up that the feed is too slow. So anyone can put in the comments section. Thank you. So yes, Danielle, the answer is yes. Hi, Connie and Sanya. from Bosnia. Great. We had a divine comrade sister there yesterday and today, at least, visiting the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, also on this important time. So, what we have had today, and this is all interconnected um, with everything everyone does in every group worldwide. For example, Mounts Shasta, USA, um, Giza, Egypt, Bosnia, pyramids, Mount Buseg or Bucheg, Buchegi, I say here in Romania. Also Angkor Wat in Cambodia, and I also wish to add in that there was also other important energetics that was done in the Himalayas. And as we go forward, more information may be released on that, but also there may be some activations required to be done remotely there as well. So a very busy, energetic day, and everything that everyone does energetically and with your own ceremonies, it all adds to the whole. So we're all, even though you may not know each other or different groups, we're all working towards the same means, and that's the raising the planetary vibration, which affects the planetary ascension. And with this, many hands makes light work, which is a great explanation of what occurs. Okay, I gotta scroll back here and let's see what you got. Okay, thanks for this, Kathy. Everything looks like it's working good. Donna, thank you. Great. Okay, Sanya says she's been body shaking all day, like earthquake and feelings so hard energy. With this, at this time, there are just so many uh, ascension symptoms, and again, it's been like this for the last few years at least, that you're having ones feeling so many different sensations and having different symptoms. And with this, uh, when you feel like, if you're sitting still and you feel like a wobble, like something went like that, or an earthquake, but you didn't move and there wasn't any earthquake, which to call this is a dimensional wobble, if you will. And I call it a wobble, and also it is a test on your energetic field if it goes upward. Then look at this as an ascension test on your multi-dimensional um, uh, field, and also your Merkaba and your light being status, to see if it uplifts, if you will. So you can look at it in a few different ways with this. Uh, Also, the vibration, that is very important, and many are feeling that. And again, you can feel it in several different ways. You can feel the vibration inside, you can feel it in your energetic aura, and of course, there are many organic vessel upgrades that are ongoing, more into the crystalline based form, and there is also energetically the biorhythm of the planet, the electromagnetics of the planet is in constant change, if you will, going higher and higher, notching up. And you are an energetic um, magnetic being also with your field that has to compensate and acclimatize to these higher vibrations as we keep going higher and higher in vibration and frequency, which changes reality. And having said this, um, when your field, your energetic field, is being recalibrated and also strengthened to match your the new timeline we are going into, you will feel this energetically. And as we keep going up higher and higher in frequency and vibration, the more sensitive you become. So let's say today, where you're more sensitive, the same thing that was occurring with your energetic field 10 years ago, you might not have noticed it or felt it there because you were not as advanced and sensitive as what you are now. So you will be feeling things much stronger than ever before. And it's also a divine incentive, if you will, by increasing your empathic ability upon the planet, to not wish to focus on negative energies. Do not allow them. Anything non virtuous is an energy, to not allow that. And this is your divine incentive so that you do not allow this, so that as your co creator ability, you create this new heaven on earth where these things do not exist. The lower density emotions, the negativity, and of course the evil itself cannot exist in these higher states of being. And to um, transition and to ascend yourself into these higher states of being, you need to also um, reconcile with these energies in your field as well as purifying your field so you're not contaminated by it. And do not give your consent away to anything that is immoral. And of course, do not give your power away. And do not listen to ones or anything that you may read if it does not resonate. So that's important to always know that. And of course, that is basics. So the vibrations, wobbles are felt. And also, with your question, getting a little bit more back to it, there is the premonition effect as well, that with some where you're connected more with Gaia and you're a divine mother representative more in her love, and you're more empowered with this and with the virtue, then what will also occur is that you can feel sensations from the field of Gaia, from her field, will be reflected in your field, meaning that if there is earthquakes, some trembles in some areas, that you can also feel them at the same time, or you can also sometimes feel them before. And the reason you can feel them before is because you're not dependent upon how far you are advanced. You are not constant in space nor time any longer with your field as well. Now, with your consciousness, if we look at mediums and psychics, in the past, their consciousness could transcend uh, space and time, if you will. However, what's occurring now is your physical energetic field in your physical body is also able to do that more so than ever before. So there is the added effect. Okay, I'll have a look here, see if there is. see what the next question is. Just give me a moment. I gotta find a way to stop these. Hartley is asking, she's wondering if there will be a physical transition into the new Christ earth, or will it be other? For the most part, Hartley, with most souls that are ascending, they are ascending with the physical vessel intact into the new heaven on earth scenario. There are some, but the number I would say is few that is ascending through a death process, if you will, and they are going forward, be it in, let's say, the fifth dimension, or they could go into the sixth dimension. From this space here, that is not determined by I nor any of us. The main focus is on the individual and ascending to the next level. And once you're there, then you receive more information, or just before you get there. So it is possible, and this has always been possible, that you could have a loved one, if you will, that passed or ascended 10 years ago, that here in the future you could see them again, and that is a possibility. And with this ascension, and overall, what I need to say is almost, if not all, everything good is possible. This is very magical, this overall ascension, and it depends upon the individual how far you are going with your organic vessel. If you're just going to 5D for now, if that was part of what your soul agreed to, then your experiences are going to differ from one that is, let's say, going into their full multi-dimensional activated Merkaba and going into the different dimensions. So there is a variation, and there is a slight difference with what's occurring with ones. So I believe that should answer that question. Danielle says, family was Cherokee Indian. Do you think the Indian mounds are lined up like the pyramids? What I need to say, Danielle, through all cultures, these beliefs are important and did have significance. And when you look at, let's say, indigenous peoples' mounds, or uh, they were built on energetic centers, the same as the pyramids and other structures. So it is about the energetics, where they were built, is what it's about. So your answer, yes, are lined up as well. But it also needs to be uh, evaluated and considered that going into the fifth dimensional space, that physics changes also, meaning that the way uh, that you thought things worked, well, they work a little bit different in the new, meaning that you don't need pyramids, um, just only pyramids in the new, that you have this whole wide array of, let's say, ancient volcanoes that were actually burned out pyramids. And once you enter the multi-dimensional spectrum, what it also does is that it brings to life, if you will, new energetic utensils, things that you can utilize in your energetic work to change reality and propel it forward. So I'll stop on that right now. Thank you. Yeah, we have multiple CMEs coming, strong energies from X flares and M flares, and a creational magnetic plasma, and also electrical photonic light from the most recent X-ray last night. And these light emissions from the sun are also being utilized by the ground crew, if you will, with these activations. And of course, the timely appearance of the X-ray last night in preparation for Lionsgate. There is no coincidences with any of these significant flares. They are providing energy directly to Gaia, to the planet, to facilitate raising the vibration through the purity of energies and all of that good stuff, without getting too deep into it at this point. And Dariana says, with the symptoms and weird sensations, don't you say that she's saying that they freak her out. Don't. You have to relax. If you begin to freak out, what you do is you add fear into the process. And by doing that, you will complicate and make things worse. You know, a lot of these symptoms also can be orchestrated by the soul to empower your trust and your pacification with what is going on, and then your upgrades get administered much more quicker. You cannot use the human logic and, let's say, if you're feeling tired, fight against it. You got to go with what the vessel is feeling, and you got to be in trust, and you just have to lay down. Now at this point, an important upgrade for Femke just the other night, perhaps last night, what occurred is her whole physical vessel was going through upgrades. It could not move, and her consciousness kept the higher space, just sitting or laying, waiting for the process to occur with the body. So in the consciousness, like, is observing the energetic effects, what is occurring. I also and many others had the similar experiences, and this is a very good sign. And one of the reasons why is Femke's and my organic vessels are advanced in the crystalline process, and to see us at this very time going through these significant upgrades, it indicates that we are now sliding into a higher vibrational timeline and paradigm, which is very great news to see this, because what had happened prior, just only using Femke and I as an example, and of course there's many others, we were kept at hold. We could not go uh, higher forward in our crystalline process, because if we did, then we would, let's say, ascend out of this reality. And part of our soul's mission is to be here with our divine comrades and brothers and sisters, to also take them forward as well. So as they're ready and raise in frequency, we all go to forward together. So if our organic vessels were to progress, we would go into light body and we would vanish from this reality. But for Femke and I and many others, it's so important that we are here with this overall ascension, what's occurring to the planet. So having said that, our organic transition more into the crystalline has been regulated divinely to assure that we do not leave before it's time for us to go. So that should explain also what is occurring. So it's very good signs, even though you may You just lay, relax, and just be in absolute trust and allow it to take however long it takes. Don't fight it. If you fight it, that's from fear, and you will lengthen it. And you could, it's, yeah, just don't fight it. Be in full trust. And this is also a great practice to instill even more trust, because what occurs, what you will find, the more you just trust and surrender, be neutral, then you see on the other side of it that that was the exact way to be, and your consciousness also raises higher, that you're able to see more of what was actually occurring. But if you go into fear, then your consciousness could reverse, and then you block all of the answers, or a lot of them, to keep it simple. Connie, a lot of pressure in the front of your head, blurring your vision. That is common as well, and what each one needs to also appreciate is that there's a lot going on with your third eye area, but there's a lot of reconstruction inside the organic head and brain itself, with many new neural pathways and ganglions growing, and the anatomy of the old human brain is changing. And let's say a lot from the subconscious side, your left side, is your, with your memory, a lot of it is being, let's say, wiped out. It doesn't need to be there, and one of the important reasons is because if it's connected to trauma and fear, you cannot have all of that readily accessible in your consciousness, where you're going into a new world where it never existed. So if you were to have your old trauma thoughts and memories as well going in there, you would contaminate the new world that you are creating with it. So, this is one of the basics why we teach everyone, be in the now moment. The past doesn't matter. You only take the value from anything, and look at that you are here today, and that you have the direction that you're going forward to, and keep en route to that. Don't get led astray. Um, Keep empowering yourself with whatever empowers you. That's so important. Let's see. Hartley asks, were we supposed to contain our energy we create in the physical body to fully activate our light body, or do we project our energy to focus on the new earth? I believe what you're asking is that by keeping your focus on your own energetic field and purifying that, this is so important, and this is key to your ascension, is purifying your actions, your reactions, and your thoughts to the positive, to the moral, to the virtuous. And by doing that, you strengthen your energetic field. You begin to activate all of your chakra centers, if you will, your energetic centers. Your Merkaba fires up, if you will, and you begin to uh, have different experiences, and to feel different things, and also keep your focus on the best reality that you wish for all. And so, yes, on the new earth. And by doing that, when you put your focus on the new earth, you are actually putting a direction. You're putting a satellite out there that gives your consciousness a direction, but also your energetic field will then begin to obey those commands, and it begins to uplift your bodily process with the ascension as well. And this is ideally when we have enough of the co-creators upon the planet doing this all in unison, raising the vibration, then we get this new world created much more quicker, which we ascend into. So this is basic, and it is very important, though, to know what's going on, that you have a choice what you wish to believe in. And it's important to reach for the sky, reach for the utmost limit that you can perceive, the very heaven on earth scenario. Then that way it gets you there quicker. Don't settle for anything in between, because that can delay you and get you sidetracked and going through unnecessary repetitive experiences. So it's kept simple. Reach for the sky, and don't look anywhere else to the side, if you will, or back. Don't. There is no going back, and really don't look back. Many have tried, and you can try it again, but what you'll find is you'll be disheveled from that reality very quickly, and you'll set off a lot of negativity for yourself as well. Because we are part of the new world, so you cannot be back energizing and supporting that old. It's all divinely ascertained and assured that your sights get focused on the new world, because you are a co-creator to assist and facilitate in the creation of it. And if you're in the old, let's say, earning money in a capitalistic system, that is not the new world. And what will occur, you'll be in conflict with your soul, with your divine mission, and so many more things. Hi, Lily. I'm not quite sure what you are saying. It's saying need protection, sent. They're after all of us, trying to stay in moment, vibrate higher, and walk away. What I need to say is that there is no need for any protection. What you do is you protect yourself by not having fear and not feeling that you need protection. If your energetic field has advanced to such a state that you're manifesting in your reality, and if your mind becomes negative or fear set, then what you do is you negate your field and you begin attracting a lot of unnecessary fear things that may look like someone's out to get you or attack you or what have you. But you need to know that is not the case. If you're able to manifest, this tells you that you are at least some at the level enough that you're able to choose how you want your energetic field to be: positive, love based, or fear or negative based. Then you will attract the likes. So that's important as well. And with this ascension, and this is very important, and thank you, Lily, for bringing this up, because this ascension is ascertained. It's divinely ascertained and guaranteed. And what you think um, is evil, it is only fourth dimensional, meaning that you are multi-dimensional, that you ascend above any clutches of evil once you know your power and let go of the fear, and to know that they actually fear you. That's why they're attacking you, trying to intimidate. But once you know that you are the omnipotent, invincible, divine soul, then it's no longer do you attract those sort of things to you. And also, what I need to say, not only is there the divine ground crew, which is all of us, which is huge, and all of the human souls upon the planet that are ascending, there is also the galactic uh, um, ET element that is benevolent, that is also here to assure and assist with this overall ascension and the leagues of heaven, if you will. So we have the ground crew, and we also have the angelic forces assisting with this overall combined effort with the planetary ascension. Now, if the darkness or anything had any power, none of you'd be awake, none of you'd be here today. And so it's not true that the evil is stronger than you. It is the actual opposite. You are the most omnipotent, stronger than them. So just switch your belief and know that you were lied to from the darkness, and empower yourself and know who and what you are. And know that you're not alone. That what is occurring with this ascension, there is off-world forces. If you do need assistance, you call on your angelic guides, your benevolent ETs, whatever it may be that supports you. And that's important. Much love to you. Charlotte asks, out of 8 billion on this planet, I just told it, how many are just background people? Let's say out of 8 billion, we look at there's about 6 billion human souls. So, but what I will say upon the planet, that there's most likely only about 7 billion now, or not quite 8, because as we raise the vibration, there are what you call the minions that cannot raise their vibration. They do not have it in the DNA that they have, because they were not created from the spark of God, if you will. These were man-made, so they were not created out of that overall creation that has the ability to ascend. So having said this, there's about 6 billion human souls that have the ability to ascend. So Vincent says it takes so long, 4 billion consent people before an implementation. Why not now? I believe you're referring to the GPMS.world, which is the divine plan. The divine plan is set up this way that it needs the majority of the souls to consent to it. You're saying it takes so long. Really, it doesn't. Everything is there, and what is occurring worldwide with us divinely, where ones are not making the choice yet, they are also being divinely pressured from the outside forces that very soon that they will be making the choices. So it takes as long as it takes, and everyone is morally obligated, if you will, to make this choice, and it keeps going forward. And right from this point right here today, Vincent, it could even be as little as a month. The implementation of GPMS, it goes viral, and it's done. It's absolute. It's imminent. It is indefinite. The only thing that holds it back is the ones that don't fully see it yet, and that may need a little bit more pressure so that they see what is needed worldwide. But it's all on divine timing, and it's all divinely orchestrated again, meaning that it is guaranteed. And yeah, it is taking long. It's kept logical, but there is such a there was I'd like to say there was such a deep brainwashing and conditioning that many of the awakened, what you would think were awakened, were not at the level to see this yet. But as a result of everything we're doing, and of course the worldwide creation activations, and everything is having a great effect on this. So you could also have overnight a flashpoint, if you will, where you have the majority awake, and you can also have this within a month. It is still very real. So, or even less, I could say. So these are possible things. So thank you for that, Vincent. Just looking at some more questions. So basically, the question here from Hartley is, why there is a difference that ones will have communication with their guides, the angelics, prime creator, and why others do not. This is on the soul level basis, and it depends on the divine role that you have at any given time. And having said this, it could change your communication with the higher divine could open at any moment. It's important not to compare yourself to anyone and anything, and to trust that what you're doing is what you need to be doing, and trust that if you need to be into direct contact, let's say with Archangel Michael of Light, it will be occurred. So you need to come also to the level of trust. And as you do this, when you come to that level of trust within yourself, then more channels open. And as you purify your energetic field, your actions and reactions, also more channels open, because you are ready to play a higher divine role. But if you are in great fear, you're not ready to play those roles, so you will not have those channels open. So you are responsible, everyone is responsible for your own self, and for your actions, reactions, and doing your inner work and going through that process. Now, there is always exceptions of the rule, because it depends on the individual soul role, divine role they must play on the planet. And if, let's say, if there's a divine clarion call that is very important, you can have let's say, several or many awaken overnight, and have that communication established, and their perspective has changed, and they come to know who they truly are and what they're here upon the planet to do. So in that circumstance, that also occurs, that in the blink of an eye you wake up from your own disguise, and know that you're not human, and what you felt that you had a purpose and a reason here, then it becomes clear what that is to some extent. And then that is when the knowing is embodied, and you're also empowered even more with that. Just scrolling again here, looking for some questions. Kate Lightworker says she's going through divorce and it's been about 2 years in the process. He likes to tell everyone she's crazy, smile and go on your way. God will make this end in divine timing, right? Uh, you, you know, with this, Kate, uh, let's say with the system in the divorce and marriage and all of this, but especially the divorce in their justice system. It's designed to create animosity, to bind and contract one. So, what you have within their system is a lot of distortion and conflict that does not resonate with the divine one. And what ones will find if you go into that system and fight from the old way, you just set off a whole chain of reaction of unnecessary things. And the highest truth is just don't fight it, just you give it up. You don't give energy to it. Then what you see is that things change very quickly. So you say God will make it end. Really, it's you that will make it end by taking more action and trusting, but also that will assist with it. So let's see. It'd be interesting to see how you make out with that. Thank you. Amanda says, "Is it true if you had the fix, you can't ascend?" I believe you're speaking about vaccination or something, and with this, there's been direct divine intervention upon the planet, meaning that if what I believe you're asking, meaning that no, that's not true. Ones are ascending. Let's say there were ones that had to be what you would call a supreme sacrifice divinely to be the testimony to the others to awaken. Look what happened. So, with this evidence, if you will, it is causing many more to awaken, and it has. And what I can say also that I know of ones, let's say personally, that has awoken as a result of that too. So it is very real, and I do know that the numbers are rising greatly with that. So it's not true. Ones are ascending because there's been divine intervention directly upon the planet to assure this. And Christina Burton says, "Are we all going to the same frequency?" There's different levels where what we're doing with the planetary ascension is getting the human souls to the first echelon of what you could label as a fifth dimensional frequency and vibration, which is void of any evil, any negativity, and where everything is harmonized. After that, ones go to different places depending on what their soul wishes to do. Once we get everyone, let's say, to the fifth dimensional space, the planet, then you're given more of your free will at what to do from a higher opened consciousness and soul level. But what I need to say, until we get the planet up to the fifth dimension, you have very little free will. All you have really in the lines of free will is your choice of what is occurring in this dimension and your choices at empowering yourself to take you higher. But when I say you don't have all your free will, what I really mean by that is that if you did, you and many others, if you really had free will, you would not even be in this dimension. So that's important to say that too. Natalie says, when is 8-8 Lion Portal if not today? Well, the Lion's Gate portal, if you will, it actually extends over a period of perhaps several days, and let's say common ending, uh, perhaps the apex, the climax is on the 8th, so we could take it at least between the 4th and the 12th. Some others may say a little bit longer. So, uh, so it's not per se just one day, but you have this. Let's say here it is coming up like this to how to show this. Let's say this is the 8th right here, the top of the pin. So you got the 7th. You're coming up to the 8th, to an energetic peak. But what's occurring, you have all this energy that is accumulating, and it's going to set off going up into the 9th, the 10th. You're raising up higher. So this portal is extended, if you will. So it's with this Lion's Gate portal, this one here, because of the divine effort that's put in it, it it is having great change on reality. And what I like to say is that um, a Lion's Gate like energy will just continue forward, going forward and getting stronger, is what I like to say with that, if that answers your question. Natalie asked, is today the day to manifest union with divine spouse? With this, every day is good to be open to that union, but if you're trying to manifest the union with your divine spouse, that means you're not trusting, you're not allowing, and what you're trying to do is control it. And with that, one of the universal violations is that you cannot violate another soul's wishes as well. And if you go to try to manifest another soul into your reality against their will, you are in direct violation, and what you will do is prolong your union, because when you try to control something, that is coming from a place of fear, which also shows you're not ready for a sacred divine union as well. So it's important to know what you're actually creating, that you'll be creating the opposite because of your intent, what is in there. You're manifesting, let's say for yourself, you want this relationship, and where you want this and you're trying to control it, you're actually pushing it away and keeping it from you. So change what you're doing with that, um, and you will see a difference in it. Becky Morgan says, my husband's higher self has come to me through several different mediums, showing me that his abuse of alcohol is part of his divine plan. He says it's a way for him to disconnect from his body and work in the spiritual realms while he's out there doing this work. It's difficult not to be resentful with the sleeper. Well, Becky, well, let me say, and just to give you the full truth, your husband's physical vessel, if he's drinking a lot of alcohol, it will not advance, because with the organic vessel, anyone typically knows when you drink alcohol, you'll get a hangover, let's say for about uh, a day after. And the reason you get this hangover is because all of your energy is going there trying to break down the complex sugar and glucose structures that's in alcohol. And where one keeps drinking, then their energy is constantly directed at, at trying to eliminate the toxin from the body. Then the energy is preoccupied, taken away from where it could be advancing the body. So this is why it's so important with this ascension. Everyone is told to take utmost care to the greatest degree of your physical vessel, and that includes letting go of alcohol, letting go of synthetic drugs, pharmaceuticals. Each one needs to be responsible to that. And if also where I see that you're saying where you can stay in a higher frequency out of anger and resentment. Well, if you're able to still have anger and resentment um, caused within you, then you also need to go in and begin to do that inner work, that you have trust in what is going on, and that you embody the trust which replaces the anger and the resentment. And then it cannot come in and control you to make you be angry and resentful, if you will. So you need to do more of that inner work so that you diminish and eliminate the control from any fear spectrum with this. So it's a great place to begin to do your inner work and learn what all of that involves. And then subsequently it begins to change your reality. For example, where you let go of this fear, for example, what could happen is that your husband could immediately stop drinking. And if he doesn't, at least you're not affected into and controlled into an angry state by it. That you have your mastery so that your energetic field doesn't become contaminated and disempowered by that. So again, without going deep into all of how the inner work works, it's important to be educated on that, is what I suggest. Yeah, bear with me, everyone. This the comments section, it jumps as new comments come in. So when I begin to read, sometimes it jumps. What do you think about the whole twin flame thing going on right now? Katrina asks. With the twin flame thing, for the most part, the advanced twin flames were kept on hold. And the reason they were kept on hold is because everything is energetics and vibrations. And divinely, they were unable to go forward. For if they did go forward, they would simply vibrate out of this space. And their mission is connected to the whole. Now, having said this, you had advanced twin flames that were kept at a ceiling for now, until you had other twin flame pairs that quickly went through the process, individuals as well as the overall collective, before we all can go forward together. So the great news is right at this point that all twin flame experiences are able to now marginally go forward once again. And this is very significant to know. And and in reality, with any of you watching this, anyone that's in their awareness, the twin flame concept has come in. It actually means you do have a consort, a twin flame upon the planet. But again, you don't come together. It's a misconception for the most part that you come together and that you go through all of this work. That's really not how it occurs. You're kept separated by fear. So you don't come together and battle all of the fears together. Usually that doesn't work that way. What happens, it's a solo trip of doing your inner work, and as each, the masculine and the feminine, get that inner work done, that purification, then they are ready for these higher sacred unions. And again, as we keep going forward, typically it's been the divine feminine, usually at a 70-75% um, ratio of the overall um, uh, energetically advanced ones, with 25% masculine. So this made it difficult. You had, let's say, 70, these hands is a little bit back, these 75% of the feminine were, at least ready to begin to take the higher relationships forward, but you only had, let's say, 25% of the masculine out there that was available. So with this ascension, and it's perfect the way that it was, but having said this, you know, in reality, the divine masculine were actually suppressed more than the divine feminine. The divine feminine, overall kept their power because of their unconditional love that was embodied through mostly the childbearing, but it's in the divine feminine instinctively because of their motherhood. So their unconditional love could not be robbed from them as easy as what it was from the masculine. And the masculine, when they didn't have the unconditional love, they had to go through that one stage to come back to that higher degree of unconditional love to match where the feminine was at. And so, having said this, in reality, the masculine were the genuine masculine were actually suppressed more than the feminine. So that is the real truth on that. And having said it, in this great time, the ratio at times, it does get better where you have more masculine that will become more aware and more awake. But when you look at the masculine as well, when they're still in this aggression and fighting, that is also a lot of fear that will not allow their consciousness to advance, because fear is attuned to the lower dimensional acts and reactions, and it will also keep them suppressed and disempowered as a result. So it's for the divine masculine and the divine feminine in their empowerment, the process, is essentially the same, but there is differences in it. And the divine masculine, when he begins to do his inner work, he is actually a step at least behind the divine feminine. So that needs to be considered and appreciated as well uh, by by all in this overall ascension and empowerment. There's a lot of misinformation out there. However, from the highest perspective, then there also is not, because misinformation is an important and vital part of a soul's discernment, learning how to distinguish between what is factual, what is real, what is wrong, what is right as well, to be able to extract the value to catapult them forward, to empower them. Take what empowers you, that is of the peace, the love, the virtue, and don't take anything that enslaves you and disempowers you. So it's important with that as well. So was looking here to see. I believe there was one more question from Charlotte. Um, Let me see if I can get this stopped. No, okay, I must be able to. Just practicing something here to see how I can stop the comment so I can read it. Alright, perhaps not. Okay, there, I got it. No. Alright, Charlotte may not be able to divinely supposed to answer your question. It keeps jumping every time I try to read it. uh, but having said this, I'm at the bottom, I believe, of most of the questions. And let's see, how long have we been in this for? 1 hour and 6 minutes. I just want to, let's see if there's anything I had wrote down here. I did want to go into the mirror effect, the reflection, what is used in some of the uh, teachings that you see out there, and how there needs to be the other higher level put in this teaching, and to know that I'm considering now this is not the live to do it, to properly address it. I would like more time to expand upon it, and so I may just not do that in this one. So nevertheless, there's any of you watching the skies again, it's important to, if you watch the skies nightly when you can see, what you will be seeing is um, new constellations, if you will, some nights, and new arrangements of ships which will form patterns that look like different constellations too. So there is a lot going on, and just before I began this live tonight, part of what I do is observe the activity in the sky and the night sky, and watch with the formation and configuration of ships and the patterns. And let me say, tonight was a very great one. There's a lot of activity, and of course it was anticipated. The area we are in near Mount Buseg or Bucegi, Romania. This is a very important place, and lots of activity going on there, and you will see more and more as we progress forward. So with that, I feel I will end this one, and thank you. Lots of great questions, and really, I did not anticipate that we'd have such a filled hour with this, but I love it, and it gives I the opportunity to purvey and share with the rest out there some information, and of course anything I ever write or say, you can share it. You never need any permission from I. It's put out for everyone to assist them, and there's no attachments to it. So if you find this benefits you, and you know it could benefit others, just share right away. And what we usually do, as I said earlier in the show, Rick Vornbrook, he down uploads these on a YouTube channel, all of these lives, and so you can view them on that channel. And in it, he asks sometimes, buy him a coffee, a donation to keep the YouTube channel up, and what he is doing, with internet and what have you. But I wish to make it clear once again. I'll reiterate that that is for Rick Vornbrook to buy the coffee, and that's not I asking for that. So, having said that, everything looks great, and so what we'll do is we'll end this, and winks, and love, light, and gratitude to all. And this is the Ascension is very real. It's guaranteed, so stick with it. And has been a hard job, but I believe we're getting to much easier places with it. The more you trust, the more you believe, the quicker we get through it, and get this Ascension mission done. So with that, have a great morning, day, or night, wherever you may be. Love and light, and thank you, and peace.